Hey guys, welcome back to another video. I am back again, but this is going to be an interesting one. So pretty much what we're doing today is I've got this monster clay. This is going to be cool because I haven't done something like sculpting in a while. I don't mean a while, it's probably since I've been in like school, practically. So this is going to be cool, but pretty much with monster clay you can pretty much sculpt stuff and that, so it's a really good medium to use if you want to do like especially if you're trying to get a good concept of, like, say something like a prop or something like a monster or a creature. Well, monster clay, that's the thing, or some kind of character, you know, just to get a rough thing, because you can draw and all this, but this can be really useful if you're trying to get like a three-dimensional kind of view of the character or whatever you're trying to do for quite a few things. So you'll be wondering, what am I going to be sculpting with the monster clay? One thing that I really like, if I haven't done it in a wee while, I would love to sculpt it, dragon head. Literally, that's what we're going with, dragon head. I really like dragons. It's kind of one of those things that I started drawing and sketching first before I started doing other things and all these little bits and balls, but I still love dragons. Who doesn't love a fire breathing dragon? And with this monster clay, it's kind of perfect because I can make a head sculpt of a dragon and I'll actually have something dragon related, because believe it or not, I don't really have something like that. I think that would be really cool. So, and eventually if I get to the point where I'm like, you know what, it's had its time, if I want to change it later, I can do, because that's what's the best good about this monster clay, you can change it, which is really cool. So yeah, let us just dive right into this and see how we get on. This is going to be, I'm actually going to have a lot of fun with this, but dragon heads. Vicious, but I want to do it. Right, so before we begin of the creation, I need to set about making my first armature first before actually using the monster clay. Because here's the thing, I don't have an infinite supply of monster clay, so it would be really quite a bit of a waste if I was using entirely monster clay. It would be not great, and especially if I want to add a lot of details and stuff like this to my creation, it's a good idea. Also, it gives it some kind of base and structure so it doesn't kind of fall apart, because what's the thing about monster clay that when I was using this is it's soft at the beginning, because when you're working with your hands it starts to soften up, which is also really good, by the way. It means you don't have to heat it up with anything in that, and it's within like a good few minutes, within a minute, it's pretty easy to work with, and easy to shape, easy to roll out, and quite enjoyable, very enjoyable indeed. So pretty much I start setting out to apply clay, the monster clay, to each part of this armature and making the base, because this is how you start. You need to start with something. You can't start with absolutely nothing. Now, yes, at the beginning it's not going to look like much. I mean, most things don't look like much when you begin with things. But as I was working with this monster clay for the first time, I was enjoying this. This was really, really satisfying. It didn't feel greasy or anything, and actually felt quite clean for clay as well. So, which I actually quite liked. I actually quite liked that it wasn't that thing, because sometimes you get that thing, and yes, I like working messy and stuff like that. I don't mind that. But pretty much at the end of the day, when you stop working on something at the end of the day, or you're finished it, you can go, your hands go, my hands feel either really crusty or wet or whatever, and yeah, you need to start cleaning yourself up, because you don't want to smell like whatever you just worked with. So pretty much actually cutting with the material in that as well is really easy. This was a soft monster clay, I actually said in the packet. I know there's different kinds of how firm the monster clay can be, and for the soft one, I think this was ideal, especially if I'm using it for the first time as well. It's definitely a good starting point if you want to try and do monster clay in at all or whatever. But I really did enjoy using this. This was great. I like this. So pretty much while applying more and more of this, I started kind of smoothing parts of it out. I kept adding bits. I had then the lower and the upper jaw of the dragon, which was great. And then slowly started adding. Now these horns weren't permanent. These were kind of temporary horns, just so I kind of knew where the horns were roughly going to go. I ended up pretty much changing these later on. So pretty much I've got a lot of sculpting to do, and I do mean a lot of sculpting. So how about we do a quick little speed up montage so then we get to the very interesting parts. Okay, it is now time for the final details. We're finally getting to this point. Hahaha, fantastic. So pretty much I start working on the kind of jawline, so you can kind of see that kind of groove and stuff that you kind of see in dragons, where between the jaw and it kind of leads up to pretty much where their eye is. I want to give it, I started taking parts off the clay, which is great. It's actually quite easy to sculpt with this. You start pulling things away, and if you're not happy with it, you start adding to bits. But obviously, I want to get to the point where we're going to actually start touching this up, smoothing it all, so you don't see all the seams. It's all kind of one whole cohesive thing, you know? You don't see all these wee bits. It's actually just one big piece of clay, I guess you could say, but you don't see any of those little lines, whatever you do when you're sculpting. So pretty much as going through each part, I started then also adding the proper horns. So pretty much I take away the placeholders that I put a while back and start making the real horns. I pretty much wanted to make these actually quite long and sharp kind of horns, so hopefully hopefully these horns will not slouch whatever or slop, because I was a wee bit worried when I made them a bit too long, but after holding them, putting them in place, they didn't do that, which was good, which is actually really good. I was quite happy they didn't ding me or whatever, so they actually stayed up pretty well up, so that's good. That's very good indeed. Probably should have put some armature wire on that in them, but oh well, what are you going to do? You got to learn somehow. I also decided to add some spikes to pretty much the jawline as well. I thought that would kind of define it a little bit more, and then some also more at the back from the very start in the back of the head. You know how some dragons kind of have that spine look. So pretty much to finish this off, I decided to give it quick little heat with the hairdryer, just to kind of smooth the top of the head, just to kind of give that nice kind of shiny, kind of smooth look. I also decided to add a few little indents and details to kind of mark some kind of scales and stuff like that, kind of rough kind of parts and stuff like that. Just, you know, just give it more detail, a bit more character. I wanted this to look as good as I possibly could. I mean, this is my first attempt. I know probably in the future, when I'm doing more of this, it's probably going to look even better. So, with all that said and done, here is the final result. well, pretty much that is us done. The dragon head is done. And I've got to say, I'm actually pretty happy with this overall. First time using Monster Clay, and I've got to say, for my first time, I think this actually turned out pretty damn well. I pretty much, as soon as I pretty much started this, I just kept going and going, and I really enjoyed just doing the process. It felt nice just to get my hands dirty and stuff like that. Even though, I will admit, my hands didn't feel actually too dirty, quite clean to actually work with. So, not actually a bad medium to work with. I actually quite enjoyed this. This was really fun. I loved adding all the lots of bits of details to it. I probably could have got more and more and more onto it, but I think this is a really good thing to actually, you know, go for my first Monster Clay. So anyway guys, I hope you guys have enjoyed this. I certainly have enjoyed this. I've enjoyed sculpting this dragon head. Maybe I'll do some more things like this in the future. I think I definitely am going to do some more sculpting stuff like that in the future, but this is the first one I've definitely done. The last time that I worked with clay was when I was back at school, and that was a long time ago. And that was a different kind of clay, and I do mean a different kind of clay. It was a lot more harder and everything else to kind of work with, but this was actually a much more pleasure to work with, and I really enjoyed this. So thank you guys so much for watching this. This has been really fun. This has been great. I've loved every step of the way. I think this has turned out really cool. I couldn't be happier. I really couldn't be happy with this. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this. I am GreenFly. Those somewhere, I don't know where I've put them, but anyway, thank you for watching this. I really appreciate you guys, and yeah, till then, see you guys later. Take care.